All right, guys, so I want to share a little bit of my story of abortion as I share other people's stories. So, for me, nobody really knew about abortion. Nobody knew about it. It was hidden. It was it was acted like it never ever happened. It was swept under the rug like it never happened. Fortunately for me, after I became pregnant with my firstborn son, he started to kick. And I'm like, wait a minute, why is he kicking now? And I had no child development under my belt. And I'm like, why is he kicking now? I don't look pregnant. Pregnant meaning fat, right? I only gained 22 pounds with him. Back then I was a lot smaller. And I had no child development under my belt. And I had actually gone to a pregnancy center and I had, blurted out when I got a car seat, about an abortion. Very few people I had told. I told my husband, who felt bad, and then I told a friend when I was sleeping over her home, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Of course I'd be okay. Why wouldn't I be okay?" That is how far the denial goes, okay? And then when you start understanding what abortion is, it hits you hard. And so I'm like, wait a minute, if I'm feeling him kick now, wait a minute, then that would have been a baby? And I ended up really feeling convicted about this. Someone at the pregnancy center said God forgives as far as the east to the west. I took all the blame, okay? And then as I got my records and stuff, which I never even saw my records, I found out how far along I was, and I, saw that I took it in front of a group of ladies who helped me process this. I saw that they said it was a blob of tissue removed. So again, abortion is treated just like a dental visit, right? In and out. So as I came home from that pregnancy center, boy, the truth was starting to hit me in little steps. And then to see, oh my goodness, that was actually a baby. And just feeling like you want to kill yourself, really. Because, I mean, I've always loved kids. I teach now with kids. I'm a mom of 5. So my life totally turned around, and it started on the couch with crying out to God. I cried to him, and I'm like, I knew there was some form of God, but I didn't know exactly much about God yet. And I remember crying and feeling like crap. I totally hit rock bottom. And then I took the only thing I knew about God, really, and I had heard about Jesus when I was a child, that God forgives as far as the east to the west. And I took all that, and I didn't know that was a lot of post-traumatic stress happening. And I cried out to God, and I kind of wrestled with him, like, okay, if he forgives me and he's God, why can't I forgive myself? So guys, we can forgive ourselves. And I did humble myself and say, well, if he says it's okay to forgive me, then I can forgive myself. So that was one of the first steps after literally wanting to kill myself, but being like, I can't because I'm pregnant. So my son in many ways saved me from a lot. And then shortly after, I got invited to a church. I went up, I heard the gospel in the lowest time of my life. God forgives as John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. Whoever believes in him has eternal life. So I forget what the sermon was about exactly, but it was making sense to me and my eyes were open. After that, guys, I had had my firstborn already at that point, and I was walking up to church myself, and I had a MOPS group. And nobody knew about abortion, and I had decided to homeschool. And I did all this stuff, and I didn't talk about abortion, okay? I didn't really talk about it. It was still stuffed down there. And then I had mentioned something to my mother about it once, and she said, oh, you were too young. And then my grandmother knew about it, and she was totally taken aback when I told her because she never knew about it. And then she just said, oh, you were too young, and sided with my mother. I was not too young, okay? So as I went to church and I took many Bible studies, many classes, I experienced God's grace first in my life before I dealt with the abortion. I had much success. I was homeschooling. I was doing all this stuff. I was involved in church. And then one day, I had decided to take a post-abortive class. And I'm like, why not? Just add it to all the other education you're doing. And that is how much the denial was there. Like, not even really like, comprehending the signs in the trauma that I had to deal with. I would hear a vacuum and a trigger would go off. I would have nightmares and hearing kids screaming. I would, have this stuff happen. So I decided to go, and I just thought, oh, I'll approach this like any other class. And then I started feeling stuff, and it started all coming out. So I would highly recommend a post-abortive class. And then I had a second post-abortive class where I was able to name my child, and I was able to get through it. So now, here I am on the sidewalks, and I'm still healing. And that was a very, very emotional experience for me. Seeing women come in, they don't understand what they're doing, young girls. They're pregnant, they don't understand, and then they leave, and they got the small belly again, and they've got a sign of relief, like, oh, good. And I know for me it was like, oh, I'm not in trouble anymore, right? Because I was in big trouble, big trouble. So anyways, healing from that, and then going forward and standing for life and standing for moms is what I do. And as a matter of fact, I have a cleaning business where I will be helping not only foster care moms as of today. I have gotten some leads with that will probably be coming through, but also helping moms with baby showers, postpartum care, helping support moms in every way. So I'm working on a business that does that, and I also started a nonprofit where I will be using even more resources to help moms have their babies, and eventually also helping moms heal from abortion more. So this is kind of what I'm jumping into. I'm dealing with more pro-life stuff and helping to serve moms even more. So thanks for joining me. I will be sharing more stories, as I am also working and busy, but sharing stories about abortion on top of my cleaning business, on top of my work, and helping girls understand what abortion is so that no other woman has to go through an abortion. Never, ever again.